How we doing, everybody? This is Shelby White, and I am here to tell you about my top 10 games from 2019. Starting off at number 10, The Surge 2. The Surge 2 is a game that was not only not on my radar at the beginning of the year, but was also a series I had not even heard of before. However, when I came across its predecessor, whose pitch was a Souls-like game in a sci-fi setting, I knew I should give it a try. I enjoyed the first game and was unexpectedly now eager to play its sequel. The Surge 2 held on to everything I loved about the first game and made some improvements in my opinion. The targeting system is probably my favorite thing about the series. It gives combat an extra RPG element by allowing you to target specific body parts on an enemy to either defeat them quicker or take them down slowly in an effort to steal a weapon or armor piece. I had a blast fitting together every armor piece to find out which ones worked best with my style of play. Not to mention, there are now 4 more weapon types added to this game, which create a handful of new customizable options. My personal favorite was a giant axe that could deal slow but powerful damage, but that could also be split into 2 smaller axes for a much quicker attack with damage spread. If the developers at Deck 13 decide to continue with the series, and I hope they do, my only recommendation would be to focus on a well thought out story to engage with. I believe the combat is already some of the best, and I hope to see more from the Surge in future years. Number 9. Luigi's Mansion 3. 3 Luigi's Mansion games on 3 different systems. That's the story of how long we wait between entries in this terrific series. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a true return to form and is an absolutely stellar entry for the Nintendo Switch. In an effort to be different from its previous entries, the game takes you to a haunted hotel instead, with the plot focusing on obtaining the buttons for an elevator so that you can access new floors. And exploring each floor was the highlight of my experience with the game. They are all uniquely different in their own spooky, interesting, and comedic way. The boss battles are all fun to figure out and really take off as you get deeper into the game, where using your gelatinous doppelganger Gooigi becomes essential to solving puzzles and taking down foes. A new tool that opens up gameplay possibilities is the ability to fire a plunger from the poltergust and hit enemies or pull down structures to open new paths, treasures, or combat decisions. I really enjoyed the second half of this game and would definitely recommend to anybody who owns a Switch. Number 8. Super Mario Maker 2. This is a game that I had no intention on playing this year, especially after easily passing up its first entry. However, I am so glad I made the decision to pick it up. I didn't realize just how much fun I would have creating my own levels in the Mario universe with the sole intention on torturing my friends who attempt to play through them. However, the total freedom of creativity is not what made this game one of my favorites of the year. What makes this game differ from the first is the addition of a story mode. The story mode doubled as its own fantastic Mario game, and also as an incredible teaching experience for the endless possibilities you have available to you in the level creator. It shows you just a glimpse of what you are capable of making, and sparks hundreds of other ideas that I couldn't wait to include in my own level designs. The community of playable levels is so much fun to jump in and out of, and I find myself so enveloped into trying to break world records that I actually think I might be a better Mario player now. And with the recent inclusion of level designs that you can make based off the Legend of Zelda series, I couldn't be more eager to jump back into the fun. Number 7. Baba Is You. If you love puzzles of any kind, then I highly recommend playing this game. Baba Is You is a game unlike any other I've ever played. The gist is to figure out how to quote-unquote win each level. The early levels are cleverly enough designed to make your confidence raise, and then you slowly realize just how difficult this simple design can really get. There is nothing more satisfying than finally cracking the code on a level that you've been knocking your head against the wall trying to figure out for hours. It really does get difficult as the levels go on, but if you can take the brain benders head on, you'll be pleasantly surprised at just where this game can take itself. Number 6. Cadence of Hyrule. An unexpected entry into a beloved series. Although this game was created by a smaller developer, it feels like a game that deserved to be in the Zelda franchise all along. The rhythmic combat was a fresh take on the 2D feel of similar Zelda games, and mastering the movements and attack patterns was as fun to do as it was satisfying to accomplish. Entering new areas always felt fun and exciting, as they gave light to secret sections to unlock and a masterfully done remix to nostalgic songs. The Gerudo area being a personal favorite of mine, with its well-made synth and rock ballad. I had trouble putting this game down as I played it start to finish without missing a step. Pun intended. And if you are a Zelda fan, or even just a fan of rhythmic games, I recommend delving into this one. Number 5. Control. Control was a total mystery to me upon seeing its psychedelic first trailer. I couldn't figure out what this game was about or how it would play, but at the same time I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. At first glance, it didn't appear to be much different than some other third-person action shooters, but as you uncover the story a bit more, you get hooked into a sci-fi thriller with fast-paced gameplay and hours of lore to comb through. Taking a break from mainlining the story never felt like a burden either, as I found myself losing track of time just reading page after page of backlogs and person of interest profiles. Discovering the background of this secret agency and government building was fulfilling, and it truly helped me understand the world that they created. I kept traveling through different corridors and taking on intricate side missions in an effort to unlock new weapons and abilities, which helped me to keep the combat fresh and full of options. Getting the chance to play through this new IP that nailed exactly what it was going for was a pleasant experience in a time where sequels and reboots are all too plentiful. And if you've been on the fence about playing Control, then I suggest pulling the trigger and getting in on this one. Number 4. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. A Souls-like game set in the Star Wars universe? Now that's a combination I don't think anybody was expecting, but also one that I don't think anyone thought they would enjoy. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a game that steps in the right direction for the franchise as far as gameplay and storytelling are concerned, mixing in elements of games like Uncharted, Assassin's Creed, and Dark Souls to create something that still felt unique and fresh. Although I may just be biased because I'm never going to turn down an opportunity to wield a lightsaber. What I loved most about this game is how it managed to play as if it were a linear experience, yet continuously opening up into vast landscapes and harrowing tunnels that seem endless, creating an expansive map for you to explore. Even with a small selection of planets to travel to, I found myself constantly going back and forth between them whenever I unlocked a new trick or ability, so that I could unlock a chest or pathway I previously couldn't get to. What topped off my experience was the new cast of characters, of whom were all portrayed wonderfully, and also of which added to the lore of a universe I already admire. I'm glad that we have new canon to follow, and I'm eager to see where they go next. Number 3. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I have said multiple times on the podcast before that Sekiro was my first encounter with a From Software game, and I am so grateful that it was. The fast-paced action and traversal of this game, mixed with the uncertainty of what you're going to find across every corner, makes it a thriller from beginning to end. I love this game in the same vein that I enjoy puzzle games, because every enemy you come across was a new obstacle of trial and error, discovering what works and what doesn't. My typical play style is to attack first and ask questions later, and this game put me right on my ass for even thinking I could try that. Just ask the ogre that dropped a people's elbow on me a couple dozen times. However, the figure-it-out combat and cohesive story set within this familiar yet fantastical world is a true stepping stone for the Souls-like genre that FromSoft has created. Number 2. Observation. Observation is one game this year that checked off every box I could hope for from start to finish of the time I spent playing. It might sound weird for me to say how unique and original this game is, considering its blatant similarities to movies like 2001 and Alien, but I found myself completely engaged and constantly curious at what was going to happen next. Spending the time to discover what happened upon the ship really pulled me into the story and had large payoffs towards the second half of the game. Throwing in puzzles to complete the tasks given to you by Emma Fisher really made you feel more integral to the story than just being the AI with fixed points of view. Without spoiling anything here, the later parts of the game are where it truly shines, as everything is starting to piece together, yet completely take you off guard at the same time, and with a fantastic ending, I can truly say that I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Observation this year. Number 1. Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is a first of its kind in my opinion. This game to me feels like a culmination of what-ifs that the creators continue to ask themselves, and then answer in perfect fashion. It sucks you in with the idea of space exploration, then entrances you with intrigue as you spend countless hours piecing together a well-crafted history left behind by an ancient alien race. Adding new story notes to your log is so satisfying, and the undiscovered marks always leave you wanting more. What made me really fall in love with this game is when I would stumble across a discovery by mistake. This happened to me a few times throughout my journey around the solar system, and it always gave me a rush of excitement, especially if it was the one thing I needed to unlock a mystery I just couldn't seem to figure out. I applaud everything that this game went for because they absolutely nailed every aspect of their intentions, and I look forward to seeing the games down the line that are inspired by the innovative creativity that I experienced throughout my playthrough with Outer Wilds.